Hello, and welcome to a presentation on Yevgeny Zamyatin and his life in the Soviet Union under totalitarian rule. First things first, I want to give some backstory on the origins of the Soviet state and the context of how living there provided Zamyatin his inspiration to come. This is a complex era in history, and I will do my best to provide a brief overview. So, here we have Tsar Nicholas II, the last emperor of Russia. Now, he wasn't very popular among the Russian people, mostly due to his poor leadership, and his fall would end the Romanov dynasty's 304-year rule. Mass protests ensued, leading to a revolution led by Vladimir Lenin and the Bolsheviks to overthrow the autocracy and establish a socialist government. The year 1922 would see the end of the Russian Civil War and the formation of the USSR. This new Soviet state government was led by Vladimir Lenin. Now, this new regime wasn't seen by some as what the people had hoped for. What was thought to be liberation for the working class was in reality totalitarian. To secure his hold, Lenin had to be ruthless, suppressing any opposition to the Communist Party. Citizens weren't allowed to own private property, and private enterprise was limited. Although there were criticisms of this new system, Lenin's government implemented significant changes, including the nationalization of industry and land. Now that we have a little backstory of the formation of this new totalitarian state, let's take a quick detour and talk about Yevgeny Zamyatin and his role in all this. Born in Lebedeon, Russia, on the 1st of February 1884, Zamyatin was the son of an Orthodox priest and a musician. Growing up, he was often described as a lonely child, spending much of his time reading or listening to his mother play the piano. In his early adult life, Zamyatin studied engineering at the Imperial Russian Naval Academy in St. Petersburg. During this period, he lost his faith in Christianity and became involved in Marxist politics. This led him to join the Bolshevik faction of the Soviet Democratic Labor Party. His political activism led to multiple arrests and even went into exile. After the revolution in 1917, Zamyatin lost favor with the party in response to new literary politics attacking the arts, and switched his loyalty to the left socialist revolutionaries. His newfound mission was to use his literary talents to satirize and criticize the increasing totalitarianism of his home. In his final years, Vladimir Lenin suffered several strokes that left him in a coma until his death in 1924. During this decline, the General Secretary, Joseph Stalin, sought to gain control over the party bureaucracy. Lenin grew wary of Stalin's ambitions and urged the party to remove him from his position. After Lenin's death, Stalin successfully won control over the Soviet Union by moving in to eliminate his rivals during the power struggle. New leadership under Joseph Stalin saw the transformation of the Soviet Union's economy with the goal of forcefully shifting from an agrarian society to a major industrial power. This came at a great cost, however, as Stalin was responsible for widespread repression and suffering, as well as a great famine that caused the deaths of millions of citizens. Because of this, Stalin's image as an omnipotent leader was heavily promoted through extensive propaganda, fostering a sense of loyalty and devotion amongst the populace. In reality, he was a paranoid person, executing over 500,000 of his political opponents during what was called the Great Purge. Censorship also peaked during his reign because of Stalin's perception of talented people as a threat. No one was safe in the Union, as jealous neighbors could inform the secret police about their fellow acquaintances' behavior and actions, whether they were true or not. Perhaps the Soviets' most controversial moment was signing a pact with Nazi Germany during World War II. This didn't last, as the Germans invaded the USSR, resulting in the largest military offensive in human history, with around 8 million casualties. This attack was returned by the Red Army invading Berlin and ending the war in Europe. After many more controversial moments in the following years, Joseph Stalin died, ironically from a stroke, in 1953. Moving back to Yevgeny Zamyatin to conclude the presentation. Living under totalitarian rule, he found himself influenced by H.G. Wells' utopian and dystopian themes and incorporated them into his own work, especially in the novel We. Due to the censorship of books, Zamyatin had to secretly distribute copies and his work among literary circles. He was even able to sneak the manuscript across Europe and overseas. Obviously, this led to Zamyatin being heavily criticized by the Soviet Writers' Union. Kind of ironic if you ask me. While trying to convince Stalin of his discrimination and to let him and his wife emigrate westward, Zamyatin was apprehended and imprisoned for criticizing Stalin's censorship. Although it was difficult, they managed to escape the Soviet Union and settled in France, where Yevgeny Zamyatin spent the rest of his days living under democracy. Zamyatin's legacy influenced dystopian novels such as Orwell's 1984 and possibly Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. His critiques of enforced conformity and totalitarianism resonate even today, influencing modern discussions on freedom and individuality. His works were circulated among Soviet dissidents and gained renewed attention during the Glasnost era in the late 1980s. In 1988, his magnum opus, We, finally made its way into the Soviet Union legally. I hope you enjoyed this condensed version of Yevgeny Zamyatin and his relation to the Soviet Union.